A birthday party turns deadly. A history of violence repeats itself. And a woman's rage culminates in a brutal murder. This is the chilling story of Tracey Antoinette Van Dungey, a name that would become synonymous with a particularly cold-blooded crime. What pushes a person to not only take a life, but to do so with such shocking brutality? We are about to delve into a case that is as tragic as it is terrifying. Remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of the Calendar of Crime. Tracey Antoinette Van Dungey, born on October 16, 1967, was described by those who knew her as a hard-drinking woman with a volatile temper. Her life was a tumultuous one, marked by aggression and a string of violent encounters. This was not a woman who shied away from confrontation. In fact, she often seemed to invite it. Her short fuse and capacity for violence were well known, creating an aura of fear and unpredictability around her. This history of aggression was not just a footnote to her story, but a critical chapter that foreshadowed the tragic events to come. In 2004, Van Dungey was convicted of the manslaughter of her former partner, a crime that should have served as a stark warning. The details of this earlier case paint a grim picture of her capacity for violence. This was not a one-time loss of control, but a pattern of behavior that would have devastating consequences. The manslaughter conviction was a red flag, a clear indicator of the danger she posed, yet it was a warning that would go unheeded until it was too late. On the night of October 17, 2010, Tracey was celebrating her 43rd birthday with a party at her home in Sugden Way, Barking. Among the guests was 41-year-old Carl Everson. The party was, by all accounts, a drunken affair. As the night wore on, the atmosphere soured. An argument broke out, and the celebration quickly descended into violence. This was the flashpoint, the moment when a night of revelry turned into a scene of unimaginable horror. In a fit of rage, Van Dungey, along with her friend Kelly Gentry, attacked Carl Everson. He was beaten unconscious, left helpless on the living room floor. But for Tracey Van Dungey, the assault was not over. As Everson lay defenseless, she retrieved a knife and stabbed him 3 times in the neck. It was a brutal and merciless act, a final fatal explosion of the violence that had been simmering within her for years. Carl Everson bled to death on the floor of a home he had entered as a guest. Tracey Van Dungey and Kelly Gentry were arrested and charged with murder. During the trial at the Old Bailey, the court heard the harrowing details of the attack. The prosecution painted a picture of a woman with a history of violence who had finally crossed the line into murder. The defense, in turn, attempted to argue that the killing was not premeditated. However, the evidence was overwhelming. The jury found Tracey Van Dungey guilty of murder, and she was sentenced to life in prison. The case of Tracey Antoinette Van Dungey is a disturbing reminder of how a history of unchecked aggression can escalate to the most tragic of outcomes. It is a story of a life lost, a life ruined, and the devastating impact of violence on a community. The echoes of that night in Barking serve as a chilling testament to the darkness that can lurk behind a seemingly ordinary facade. Thanks for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe for future episodes from the Calendar of Crime.